All right. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tired, but I still want to come out here and do this anyways. Um, Yesterday I got interrupted by some two different officers. I'm seeing fireflies. Is that what we call them? Lightning bugs, fireflies. I don't know, but they're really cool because I feel like once I'm starting to see them, and I just saw like four different ones in like the span of like 2 seconds. It really feels like summer has started. So it always gives me like a sense of I don't know, nothing crazy, but it gives me a little sense of joy just because like fireflies ever since I was a kid. Um, yeah, there's a bunch over there. I just saw three go off in like the span of a second. I don't know, but yeah, fireflies just have like a nice little place in my heart just because something about them and being just reminiscent. But anyways, I got briefly interrupted. I don't know how I'm gonna figure out how to edit. Oh, this thing just came off. I don't know how I'm gonna figure out how to edit the video, because I was talking, then the two officers showed up, and then I stopped the recording, and then I made another recording. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too savvy when it comes to editing videos. I almost said photos. I'm not too savvy. I'm not savvy at editing photos either, but videos is the particular kind of thing going on here. So I'll figure that out. But I just still wanted to come out here and sort of talk about the same topic, but maybe just have like a different flow to it or something like that. I really don't know. There's like a heart on my windshield, and I feel like it's kind of symbolic to a little scenario that I have going on right now. I don't know. But yeah, the video that I was recording yesterday, the topic of discussion in that video, I'm going to say it in a different way, but it's really just pointing to the same thing. And it's nothing new. I'm sure that you've probably heard of it before, but it's a very big topic for me that's close to home, close to my heart. And I feel like anybody, doesn't matter who you are, could benefit from really putting yourself in a position where you're staying true to your authenticity, you know? Being authentic, being who you are, and being unapologetically you. Unapologetically you. Yeah, that's a tough word to get out from me, I can't lie. But I think I said it just fine. If you are that, then you'd have to understand also that it's not something that's quite easy to do at some times in the very beginning. Um, you know, I mean, as soon as we're born, that is the most authentic you'll ever be. You're literally a child. Any child you see in any place, they're always just being authentic. The reaction that you get from a child in a certain environment, that's just them being them, But as you grow older, and this is where your purpose starts to sort of play in, because when you're a child, you're still adapting, you're still sort of receiving the information that you came into this world with, and you're not just dealing with that, you're not just growing into that, you also have to deal with your environment. Your environment looks like the family that surrounds you, the place that surrounds you, whatever scenarios you go through. All of those things ultimately shape us. But there are things that we came into this world with before we were even like actually. I'm sorry, it may be a little difficult and outlandish to say, but this is just a belief I hold, because to me it just makes sense. Everyone is unique, not just because of the way that we're growing up, not just because of the people that we have around us as we're growing up, but also because there's a different mission each of us are going towards in life. Now, it's difficult because I can't say whether that mission is supposed to always happen. Sometimes life comes and really hands you, or the universe just supplies a very unfortunate situation for whatever reason. I can list various different things, but people that pass away before reaching the age of 30, was that a part of their mission? I don't know. I don't know the details like that. But if your life is unfolding in such a way where you reach a certain age and there's something that you feel drawn to do, I at least consider that, in my lens of the world, that is something related to the purpose of why you came here, you know? And if it is true that we have free will, then a part of that life that's unfolding is for you to also maybe decide to steer away or go in the direction of what you feel to be your purpose. There's also distractions, things that may come up. Life is by no means easy at all. It's not. There's a lot of stuff that each of us experience at different levels of our lives, and those things can come and really just mess things up, you know? Like, there is no such thing as life being easy. Even if you think it is from your perspective of someone else's life, you're like, oh, they have it easy. It's like we don't know the full details of someone's life, you know? We don't. Now, of course, maybe it's just my perspective. Maybe a billionaire has it way easier. But I don't know any billionaires, you know? I don't know them I don't know them personally at all. I just know that in terms of money and in terms of materialistic things and in terms of how they get to live their life, I think they got it pretty easy, okay? They got it pretty easy. But nonetheless, they're also human. They're also human. And listen, I'm not sitting here and defending a billionaire. Do I think a billionaire, like the status of a billionaire, should that exist? I personally don't think so. But it's not to take away that they're also a human, you know? And if they're a human, and of course there's conspiracies out there, maybe they're lizard people, fuck do I know, you know? But if they're human, right, just like I am, just like how you are, then you can understand, just by thinking about certain experiences that you've gone through, we all have someone that we love that we may eventually lose. Just naturally, that's just how it is, you know? You love someone, it could be a family member, it could be a partner, it could be whoever. It could be anybody that you hold love for. If you lose them and you're human, that shit hurts. That shit hurts. So that's kind of what I mean by life is not easy, you know? But the point is, staying true to your authenticity, no matter what anyone else thinks. I'm not saying that has to be top priority, but a part of the process of unfolding your purpose, that by far, in my eyes, I'm thinking of it as, yeah, that's my number one priority. But it's not just me thinking that and applying the effort. It's just naturally what's been occurring, you know? In the video that I was recording, where the officers had come in and sort of interrupted the flow of the video, and that's not me disrespecting them, you know, they were just doing their job, but I kind of wish that they didn't interrupt. I was kind of like, I felt like I was in the flow state of really talking, but needless to say, damn, there was a point that I was just about to get to. Now that it just kind of it just flowed out of my head because I got distracted with the whole officer talk. But whatever. The point is, right, I think this is what I was going to say. I have people in my life close to me, especially as of late, and just people overall. Some people, not a lot of people, but just some people have become aware of what I'm doing with videos and how I'm uploading them to YouTube and all those things. And it like initially it did kind of like concern me because I was like, ooh, you know. But ultimately I realized at the end of the day, I'm respecting what I feel like I need to come out here and do. I'm respecting what I feel passionate about. I'm respecting what I feel is my purpose. I'm respecting my voice. I'm coming out here regardless of what I think someone else thinks. You know? Everyone's got so much going on within their own world, within their own lives. For them to have a few minutes of thinking something that I just maybe makes me feel uncomfortable, or them saying something that makes me feel uncomfortable, it's like, I'm not gonna, like, I tend to overthink, right? And I'm trying to point to something here, for anyone who overthinks. Because I understand, trust me, I be overthinking on some of the littlest things ever. Um, and I maybe that's all of us, but the point is, everyone's got so much going on, you know? Someone else's thoughts or someone else's ideas or thoughts or opinions on something that you feel passionate about, it can feel like an obstacle. But at the end of the day, I strongly, strongly advocate to continue pursuing what you feel happy about, you know? And if someone doesn't fuck with it, if someone doesn't like it, good riddance. It was a great time, but good riddance, you know? And it's not by any means disrespect. This is what it's like to have to set boundaries at times. Even if something may have been going nice, and it turns out that somebody, a close friend, or someone maybe that you were having some sort of love interest in, if it turns out that they aren't into what you're into, or not into supporting, they're not supporting, they're the point is, and I by no means am saying that I am under the assumption that the people around me that have become aware of these videos are disrespecting me or anything like that. I'm not under the assumption at all. I'm just pointing to something that I feel like makes sense, you know? So the point is, when you're staying or when you're becoming authentic to who you are and what you feel like doing, naturally over time, given that there's space for this to happen, you're going to attract the kind of people at any level. It can be a friend, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend. It doesn't matter. Any label that you want to put out there, those people will naturally support you because you've given the space for that to occur. Whether it be you eliminated people that don't support, whether it be that you reflected enough on it that you reached the point of loving that part of you so unconditionally that you're willing to sacrifice. And when I say sacrifice, what I'm really saying is you're willing to cut off the people that don't really feed into what is really important to you. Now, diversity is definitely important in this kind of circumstance, right? You want to be able to have the opinions of different people. You want to have a community. I'm not saying to alienate yourself and just be completely isolated. That's just not how it works. Obviously not. But what I'm also saying is just be cautious of who you decide to give your energy to. And there's nothing wrong with that. Setting up boundaries is one of the best things that you could do for yourself, because that's how you give yourself the ability to just grow into what you love to do, grow into what you love to talk about. And, I can list any example. You know what you love to do. And if there's somebody in your life who is taking that away from you, they may not necessarily be taking it away from you, but, them being in their life just ultimately kind of leads to them sort of you yourself, because it's not them doing it. It's more so that their presence is a contributing factor to the pulling of you away from what you love to do. And if their presence is a part of what's causing that, eliminating that presence, that sounds like a strong word to use, but just being away from that presence, right, will naturally give it space for someone else to occupy. And maybe it doesn't have to be someone else. It could just be the time for you to reflect and understand, this is me. This is a part of who I am. And I need to love that. Because if that person that I thought was going to do it isn't doing it, it's not their place to be doing it to begin with. So do it yourself. And from there, you just watch it grow. Having no expectations is one of the best things that you could do for yourself. Because when you set up these expectations, man, you're going to be let down. Because half of the things that we think about, or a majority of the things that we think about, sometimes we're right, But at the same time, when we're not right, it's like, why was I stressing to begin with? What was the point? Seriously, what was the point of me stressing to begin with? Because what I thought, well, like, and I feel like a majority of the time we already, like, I'm not saying anything new. I'm not saying anything crazy. Like, we know this already. I highly doubt that anyone who watches these videos, or like, the point is, like, anybody, if this video is picked up by anybody, absolutely anybody, it's not like what I'm saying is something that someone would disagree to. At least maybe I'm wrong, and that's totally fine. Someone can disagree with what I'm talking about. That's okay. I'm just simply setting my own standard in these videos. I'm just speaking my standards from where I'm at currently in this point of my life. You know, there's still a lot more that I want to talk about. Anytime I make a video, I'm always like, wow, there's a few more topics that I'd like to talk about. But these videos I'm only gonna like allow these videos to be within like 30 minutes or less. I'm not gonna go into like a 40-50 minute long video. I feel like that's just too much. But yeah, I can't wait to come out here and talk about the different topics that are like kind of flowing through my head at this moment, and that I've also like jotted down on my notes app. One of them being semen retention. Semen retention, I swear, is like, there's a lot of misguided information around it. Not to say that I have the right information, but genuinely, I felt like there's been some positive things that have happened as a result of my accidental semen retention journey. I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. It just feels like there's more clarity in terms of some of my life's experiences. And ultimately, what I've seen come out of it has been respect for myself and more respect for other people. When you pull yourself away from a habit that you were so drawn into, something like wasting semen, which sounds crazy, I know, but when you sort of have that respect for yourself, naturally, I think that you'd also develop respect for other people, regardless of what they do. In this particular situation, it's not like I'm bashing every person I see and like, oh, you're not practicing semen retention. If anything, I have more respect for them because I understand. I was once in that hole too, regardless of what the hole is. Pause. I was once in that hole too. So it's not like I'm above you. It's not like I'm above anybody else. I'm just like you. You're just like me. We're all capable of this. Blood flows through my body just as it flows through yours. Just like both of our hearts pump. You get the gist. Now go enjoy your life. And I really do mean that. That's it.